I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 39. So let's focus on verses 42 and 43. The Israelites had done everything the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected all the work they had accomplished, and they had done just as the Lord commanded. And then Moses blessed them. My wife and I built our first house in Franklin, Tennessee, long time ago. You learn a lot about things when you build a house, right? Fortunately, we had a good experience. And when the work was completed, we walked through and we inspected everything. And then we said, well done. And of course, we wrote them a final check. Call it beginner's luck, because almost every other home contracting experience has been kind of nightmarish. And all I can say is, no matter how much a contractor begs, don't pay them all of the money until all of the work is done. Remember the old saying, if you want a friend to leave you alone, give him a loan. Well, sadly, the same could be said of many building contractors. Give them their money up front and you may never see them again, or seldom at least. It's safe to say that Moses was God's general contractor. He was given a job, and he was given the task of bringing it in on time, on budget, and with a zero tolerance on shoddy craftsmanship. And I'm amazed how our culture is losing its work ethic, right? Does anybody want to work anymore? And that is, we would rather play first and then work later. And that attitude has led to our generation being the most indebted generation in history. During the Great Depression, people may have been flat broke, but they were not as in debt as we are today. Consider these statistics. There are roughly 1.2 billion credit cards in use in the United States. 1 in every 7 households are projected to consider bankruptcy next year. And the average per household debt in the United States, not counting mortgage debt, is $14,500. That's credit card debt spread out through every home or household in America. It's a lot of money. As the Egyptians sold themselves into slavery in the days of Joseph, remember back in Genesis 47, so our nation has sold itself into bondage to credit companies. And in effect, we have rejected the Lord's provision, saying, well, that's inadequate, that's not enough for us. And we've chosen, rather, to indenture ourselves so that we could obtain the objects of our idolatry. Yeah, that's right, I put it plainly. Let's take today's passage as a challenge to, number 1, ask the Lord, where do you want us to labor in your kingdom? Because He has filled you with His Spirit. Number 2, work as unto the Lord, not to a boss, not to a friend, not for a paycheck. You're working for the Lord. Number 3, rest in His blessing and provision. He has given you all that you need. And number 4, seek His mercy in releasing us from the bonds of debt, which we've sold ourselves into, if indeed you're in debt. Do the work which God has chosen and equipped for you to complete. And be content in that. And then seek His blessing, not the other way around. Don't seek His blessing. God, if you bless me, then I'll work for you. Hey, think about these things today. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.